Hello, viewers. Uh, Welcome to Transcontinental 360-degree Live. Myself, Niloy Chattaraj. I'm a senior journalist and an advisory board member for the Transcontinental Times. Today, we have a very eminent guest, and I will like to introduce her to all of you. And she's Dr. Sukanya Iyer. She is an academician, a blogger, a member, a member of a Maharashtra state level monitoring committee, a mentor, and a doctorate from the Washington University, DC. And she has, you know, uh, doctorate in international economics. And she is going to discuss on present educations and economics during COVID-19 and post-COVID-19. So, first of all, I will request Dr. Sukanya Iyer to tell her journey a little bit so that the viewers can, get acquainted with you.
Good evening, Niloy. Thank you,
Yeah.
Transcontinental Times, for giving me this opportunity. It's a privilege and honor to be with you all in this time. As we all are going through tough times, this coronavirus times, corona darker times, but there is always a ray of hope. There's always a faith that I keep telling my people, my students, my fellow readers, my colleagues that in these darker times we ought to see the opportunities that it gave to us to become self-reliant economy, moving as our prime minister gave a clarion call towards Atmanirbharta, which was given long back, 60 years back, by Mahatma Gandhi. Now we have again reiterated towards that particular agenda, and this has created a lot of opportunities for self-reliance. And many PPE kits, before it was not manufactured in India. Now per day we are having PPE kits, more than 11.5 lakh PPE kits. Now it has doubled, I guess so. So because since I do a lot of volunteering activities, so I keep in touch with all these stats and figures. Basically, I'm an academician, everyone, and I like to do a lot of social service. I indulge myself from the beginning for last 20 plus years in my life into social service, especially towards education. My main motto, aim, objective is education for all, irrespective of any background, caste, color, creed, religion. In India, in Bharat, everyone must get educated. That will eliminate darkness from our lives, that will give a rationale towards life, that will give life, that will put life in perspective. So that is the biggest aim. So what I would like to quote here is, which will sum up my personality, I will say, it's a shloka it's a Sanskrit shloka. Vidya dadati vidyam vinayat yati patritvam patritvat dhanamapnoti dhana dharmah tatah sukham. Vidya, as you all know, education. Vidya dadati vinayam. When you see a person who is educated and not educated, uneducated or illiterate or literate person, there will be a difference in their way of putting things. An educated person, a literate person will be calm, quiet and polite, and whenever he speaks or interacts, there'll be difference, little rustic in nature when you interact with illiterate person or uneducated person. So vidya dadati vinayam, education imparts all those qualities, politeness, kindness, calmness, all those positive qualities. Vidya dadati vinayam vinayatyati patritvam. When it imparts all these qualities, once you get educated, that leads towards scholarliness. Once you lead to scholarliness, vinayat yati patratvam. When you achieve that scholarliness, naturally you also accumulate in your life the fame, all the position, name, power. Patratvat dhanam apnoti. That is dhanam, that is wealth. You accumulate wealth, you accumulate name, fame, position, post, whatever it is, the attachment that it comes with it. And dhanamapnoti dhana dharmaha tataha sukham. When you accumulate, there comes, a twist. There are many educated souls. There are many educated people in our nation, but very few people indulge in volunteering activities. Dhana dharma tata sukham. You have to do a lot of dharma karya. That is, indulge in a lot of volunteering activities, indulge in seva bhav, which I could see during these pandemic times. Every one of us, every 132 crore Indians, they took a pledge, they took a vow that they came out in large numbers and they did to serve the have-nots. The haves served the have-nots. So this is the essence of education. This is the essence of me, that I feel people who are deprived of opportunities, people who have the opportunities, please give them back. You will also get empowered, thereby you're also empowering them. When each and every member, each and every family empowers each and every member, each and every individual of the nation empowers the have nots, then the nation becomes empowered nation. We are no more developing nation, we are no more third world nation. As Mark Mobius says, we are emerging nations of the world. So, thanks to our leadership, thanks to all those people who have been toiling for quite some time in our nation, irrespective of all those background, they're all contributing towards national income, towards GDP, and especially during pandemic. I think they have done enormously. So this is me in a nutshell, that I believe in seva bhav. I believe in karma, treading on the path of righteousness, treading on the path of dharma. Niloy.
Ah, it's like listening, kind of a preaching from you. I will start with a question. In the present pandemic situation, the students are facing in terms of the education is like whether this online education system is doing good to the students, or it is putting an unnecessary pressures on the students, especially those who are not in touch with wi-fi, and not in touch with the high speed internet, even not in touch with their tablets, or in the mobiles, or in the remote area where schools are more important than anything else. What do you think about that?
Niloy, see, education pre and post COVID era, there's a paradigm shift. There's a lot of shifts which has happened. So as Abdul Kalam says, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, education is the most powerful weapon which can be used to change the world. Now, when we say education, what is education? The process of receiving or giving, systematic instruction, especially at a school or university. When students don't go to school, that atmosphere is not there, then they are deprived of those atmosphere, actually. So that affects the psychology of our children. It has affected tremendously for both the haves and the have-nots. So what it looked like before the pandemic, there was a class fully filled with children. Now, the post COVID era, now what it looks like, few months into a pandemic, is that one student per laptop and in a room, sitting inside a in a room, confined in the four walls, inside the four walls, not facing the outside atmosphere because of the scary nature of corona, because of pandemic. So those things, psychological factors, does make a difference, and it did make a difference, especially people, especially downtrodden sections of society who are devoid, who are not having mobile. I'll tell you, for example, I was involved myself into volunteering activity during this pandemic in Mumbai. I was, when I was doing with the help of a lot of NGOs, there was a clamor for mobile phones, smartphones, especially from the slum children. Where will they go? How can they afford? Because either their parents, one of them their father, who has the phone, and that father will not have adequate data also. So that was the challenge that education system, not only in India, throughout the world. Connectivity also mattered, the network also mattered for me, especially when we used to conduct a lot of webinar sessions. Network mattered for us also. A lot of data was used. So just imagine, for those people, for slum children, for downtrodden section society children, government school children, they had such demand for mobile phones because they do not have laptop access. So there in L&T area in Powai, I did a small project. What I ideated was, my ideation process was, with the help of a Rotary and other NGOs, we could give some 100 mobile phones. It's not going to be easy. Many volunteers came, thanks to those Samaritans, which who came like angels for those children, BMC school children. This is, I'm talking about one school in L&T near Powai. So that BMC school we went, and I also, what I did in the slums, I went, I asked them to have a hall, a हॉल, यू टेक अ हॉल, OHP ले लो, उसमें OHP से इसको कनेक्ट करके, एंड आई थिंक देन उसको उसको करो, दो दो बच्चे को, तीन तीन बच्चे को इकट्ठा करके एक एक घर में, विथ लॉट ऑफ सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग, I had suggested this. So that was, quite a welcome idea, ideation, that many people liked it. In my area, in my whatever I could do in that BMC school. So that I did, and that was replicated in many. And I was also, appreciated by BMC. Then I requested the education officer in the BMC to please look into this, and they had also asked many NGOs to sponsor. So these were the challenges, when we say, when in this pandemic, especially online education, has no information, has it been made available to all? I think it's simplified. No education, both formal as well as informal, which are available now, okay, to everyone. So this is called as information, which is simplified, which is available. It can be in any media, it can be in any fora, it can be through WhatsApp. Many people, they call it as WhatsApp University. That's different, You also get otherwise negative information also.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's
yeah.
handy. Access, what is accessible? YouTube, another medium, where lectures and seminars, they can also be made, available. So these are the medium of information which was imparted. So, and also online courses. That is natural, White Hat Junior, many people opted for coding. Many people had opted for online music class. Many people online opted for online painting classes. Everything went online. So people who could afford, middle class, yes, there was a huge burden on them. But many companies like Reliance, they made the data available free for many of the things. Some free, this much amount of 250 GB. Some data was floated around. So this is how many Samaritans, they came in this, pandemic created an opportunity to realize about self. So, and also, most importantly, what I found is they interacted, students, they interacted with professionals. Students can now connect with all the individuals who can be, they're mentors in their respective fields. So they could connect with a lot of professionals. A lot of professionals were invited, especially the counselors were invited to how to, because students, they're confined to the four walls. Just imagine, the same time last year, suddenly you are put, it is like, humans, it's like another jail. If you lockdown, you're not able to go. You have to break the chain, you have to break the transmission. Suddenly you make all those kids to sit in the four walls. It's not going to be easy for the parents to go, sambhalna bahut mushkil ho jata. They're all active. So how to, so this is the way the school also taught, the teachers also thought. The thought process was very nice. They thought about information to be disseminated to each and every student. So voice to the voiceless. So the many shy timid students, they were also able to connect. So they were also able to interact. So that also created an opportunity. There are many otherwise students who were not able to come out. Those students, they were also able, and teachers, hats off to them, both government as well as private. They were available 24 bar 7 to to inculcate a spirit, that they're saying that they were there for their problems. They were there as a counselor, as a mother, as a guide, as a friend, as a philosopher. So teachers, hats off to them. I would like to say they're also frontline workers, apart from other doctors. They have done a tremendous job. That has created a tremendous impact. Yes, there were challenges, and also a lot of audio visual interactions. That was most important. No? We had, there were a lot of interesting video audio clippings were shown in the, by various schools. I had personally seen all types of schools, in their own respective ways, whether it was CBSE medium or high secondary or secondary or anything. They were all showing no interest in, like it's a proven fact that when students are, able to see and orient themselves, the concepts will change. So visual, when you see that visual effects has got a lot of, it has lasting impact. It has a lasting impression. It creates a lasting impression in the minds of the students. So that was also a welcome change, especially visualizing the concepts in physics, in chemistry, and in biology. This helps to visualize concepts with a naked eye, which is not capable of witnessing as you see those visual effects. So these were the things. And most importantly, education on the move. So able to attend classroom from anywhere in the world. Okay, that was uh, they were jaldi utho, brush karo, nahao dho, breakfast खाओ नहीं तुम अभी पीछे पीछे भागेगी, van छूट जाएगा, auto पकड़ना है. So all those also they can brush, they can sit in their night dress also, put the camera switch on or mute, this whatever it is. So this is all, like, education was always, for them, it was always on the move. They're able to attend the classes anywhere in the world. Students can access their classes from any part, wherever they were into classes, in any scenario, in any situation. So in these times, in these darker times, especially the pandemic, they are both able to attend the situation and also the classes at the same time. So they can do whatever things at home. They can also simultaneously concentrate. Then, most importantly, taking advantage of the technology. So they learned many things. They learned the technical concepts. In fact, I have two nieces. In fact, one of the nieces, just hardly 9 or 10 years, she taught me on various things, now I stay up in Chennai. She was telling me how to share the screen and how to download, how to cut, copy, paste, control V, control S, control, tuck, 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 within a minute. I was just glued on the screen. I said, how do you do it? You will learn it. Very simple, very nicely, very subtly. They said, you will learn it. It is so easy. So I was taken back. So these are the things, challenges made them to understand the know-how, the updation of the knowledge, and because they had time on their hand, and the time was, I think, effectively utilized. So taking advantage of the technology to learn online courses, nowadays are increasingly becoming integrated. That is most important. They're becoming integrated with mobile technologies, so that you can do your own course. You can watch sitting TV, or you can doing some other things. So you can integrate all those things with the mobile technologies, and you can do, whether you're on the bus, you're on the move, or you can do. So the lectures are also increasingly being replaced by podcasts and videos. So this is the
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
and they make learning more student centered. So now this is the paradigm shift, that it has become more student centered, not one way. It's become a dialogue, no monologue. So these are the things that I could see, a positive shift, a positive thought process, a positive sentiment. And over the years, the children, over the months, the children, they adopted effectively, efficiently, with a calibrated approach, and making learning more, and ensuring you can learn in your own time, space. The tyranny of the distance, is increasingly being decreased. So distance that they used to travel, that is being decreased. The travel
Yeah, yeah,
ban,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that is,
Now, sorry to interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt you. Now you have put a lot of positives of the online education system, but presently working at the ground level, I can see that the many parents who are not able to pay their children
that's
fees
what I was
are
telling
being
you.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
are being put on hold. They are not being allowed to interact in the virtual classroom. A
Correct.
lot of activities, a lot of hectic activities were going around, not only in Maharashtra but in entire India,
Time.
where poor people's students suffered most due to this online education system. Otherwise, it could have been it could have been a little better if especially the CBSE school, the private school, and one more thing, the private schools are putting the pressures on the children to buy the books, no, the books, the copy from the same school which they are studying. Now they are putting a lot of pressure. One of my student, whose name is Mr. Jay Dongre, he's taking a kind of a protest in Bhandara district, where he's asking the CBSE school to monitor. The whole CBSE school should be monitored, because these NCRT books are hardly 70 and 80 rupees books, and we are putting a lot of pressures on the parents to buy a huge amount of books which have
I
no
agree.
meaning with all, and they are
I
putting a burden on the back
I agree.
shoulders of the of,
I
of
agree. I
the
agree
of
fully.
students. Yeah,
As we say pros, there are also cons.
yeah,
So one of the things students find online classes very difficult, in taking the session. That is what is the NCRT survey. That's
yeah,
also the fact. I accept. I agree. No doubt about it. I myself have faced it. I
yeah,
myself have been indulged in a lot of activities, and when I did that, when I was distributing those Niloy mobile phones, and those, the first, when I clicked that OHP, and when it went, live, when the teachers went live from that hall to the various households of the slum, they all started clapping. So that was very heartening. That was very, it was very emotional moment for me, because those students, they are deprived. So I had requested personally, as I said, to the municipal officer and many NGOs. Yes, in Mumbai they have done, and I accept there has been lapses in the system. Suddenly, we never expected over a day, or over a period of time, that we'll have to shift to this particular online streaming. And this was a very difficult moment. And not only, like, we can say, okay, fine, come to online class. It is not going to be easy for both the teachers as well as for the students. And for any, even for the well-to-do people, they have other challenges. As you have downtrodden sections, for them it is a financial matter, and accessibility is not there. For the richer class, there were some other issues. I heard that there were a lot of psychological issues,
yeah,
depression,
yeah, yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
depression.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
that
yeah.
was also a case, and we had arranged a lot of counseling sessions. Also, I myself have done it. A lot of videos I've done it, and in my own capacity. So this was a transitional period. No one expected this. We have to accept. I accept. I agree. There are a lot of loopholes in system. A wake up call for every one
Yeah,
of us.
yeah, yeah,
It's a
yeah,
wake up
yeah,
call. This pandemic
yeah,
gave wake up call. Wake up. We woke up from deep slumber. Yes, there are lapses. Every government accepted, but we cannot say, fine, we have accepted our mistake, we move on. We cannot say, we cannot keep pointing fingers. But what is the action plan? So that's what action plan the government of India has enacted, NEP 2020. They have it will be on the process. It's a lot of discussions, deliberations, lot of
Yeah. Just before you put on national education policy, I will let you know the ground reality. One more ground reality is that the freshly passed engineers, because this is the biggest problem the India is facing right now. The the engineering students who are freshly passed out from their respective engineering colleges, the industries are saying that they are not fit for their requirement. So there is a huge gap between what the university are teaching and what the industries are in present circumstances needed. How your national education policy will bridge the gap? Because freshly students, they are, my some of my students, they are getting 10,000, 50,000. Their parents have spent a lakh of rupees for the educations, and what they are getting, 10,000, 15,000. The person who is sending who is selling vada pav, or even selling aloo poha, what we call, they are earning more than an educated person. So what is the use of this kind of education system to India? We need to bridge the gap.
yeah.
What about that?
So that is what NEP addresses. That
Yeah,
is what it is. Being an academician, I myself have addressed,
yeah,
and being in the system. So, what the main aim of NEP is that's what it addresses. As you rightly put it, Niloy, there are, when vocational education, that is key, that has to be addressed. So long we have not been addressing it, and either if we have to get a good job, or either we have to go in for recommendation, or we have to
yeah,
write a exam, government
yeah,
exam. मेरे ज़माने में तो it was a hell a lot of difficult, because I was an OSC FC candidate, and to get a job itself, it was not an easy thing. Really taking our CV, physical copies में जाके one, I have to go and knock the doors of the attending the interviews and all. So that was the thing that I had to do it. So this was a situation that I had to face. So what the new education policy aims at for universalization of education, from preschool to secondary level, with 100% GER, gross enrollment ratio. That is most important. That's a key aspect I'm telling. So that it is addressed, and it is going to be implemented very soon, effectively. After the month of May or June, everything is done as an act. So because of all these other things, Atmanirbhar Bharat package was given to all industries, because पहले रोटी कपड़ा मकान का issues देखना था, तो एक step हम दे रहे हैं. तो an industry should not be hit. Economy, I'll come later on to the economy also, after this education. As you rightly said, NEP, what it will bring to us, it will bring 2 crore. Okay, make my that listen to my data. 2 crore out of school children to the mainstream education. There are 2 crore children, according to this NCRT survey. They are out of school. That will come into the mainstream through open schooling system. Okay, the current 10+2 system, Niloy,
hmm,
it has to be replaced by a new 5+3 +3+4 curricular structure. I again repeat, 5+3 plus
three,
3 plus 4 curricular structure, corresponding to ages 3 to 8, 8 to 11, 11 to 14, and 14 to 18 respectively. So this will what will this do? This will bring the Hitato uncovered age group of 3 to 6 years under school curriculum. So
okay,
mainstream. So this will address step by step. It is addressing, and this has been which has this curriculum has been globally recognized. So now, as we move towards Atmanirbhar Bharat, we are also adhering to every principle where our children should be on par with the global standards. So this will be recognized globally as a crucial stage for development of mental, faculties of a child. The new system will have 12 years of schooling with 3 years of Anganwadi or preschooling. So this is the importance of NEP का major agenda जो है उसका मैं points आपको बोल रही हूँ, and emphasis on foundational literacy and numeracy. No rigid separation, okay? No rigid separation between academic streams. Okay, previously it was no rigid separation between academic streams and extracurricular activities. Vocational streams is a must, will be a must in each and every school. Vocational stream is going to be a must in every school from, just listen to this, vocational to start from class 6 to class 6 with internships.
Whoa.
Okay, class 6 with internships, teaching up to at least grade 5 to be in vernacular language, mother tongue.
Very good.
मैं पली पड़ी तो चेन्नई में हूँ, पर पूरा जो मेरा जो बचपन है मेरा उत्तर भारत में हुआ, तो मेरा हिंदी अच्छा है क्योंकि बिकॉज आई एम साउथ इंडियन, आई एम एन आयर, सो मेरी पीपल से आपकी तो हिंदी बहुत अच्छी है, तो मैं क्योंकि मैं पली पड़ी इधर थी, बचपन मेरा पूरा उधर गुजरा, तो इसीलिए मेरे जो हिंदी है तो, बट आई ऑल्सो नो हाउ टू रीड. इफ आई वुड हैव बीन इन चेन्नई, that my this thing wouldn't have, because you know how it is going to be like this. You read so that up to 5th grade, if you do it in a vernacular language or regional mother tongue, it's going to be very beneficial. Why not? When Mandarin people can study, why can't we be proudly? Why can't we study our own this thing? Why not? It is a proud thing. It's a matter of pride.
Definitely.
Now I'm in Maharashtra, so now I have to. I also read Marathi. I also try to converse with my people in Maharashtra. This thing. So that is the main thing, or the main essence that this NEP addresses. All the gaps, the everything addresses. All the issues are all addressed. All gaps are addressed. So that is what I feel. And most importantly, what is the assessment form? The assessment reforms. Okay, this is most important. Assessment reforms with 360-degree holistic progress card. Okay, there will be progress card, 360-degree holistic progress card, tracking student progress for achieving what learning objectives, whether they have learned. So there will be a 360-degree, not only in education, not only physics, chemistry. वो लड़का या लड़की गाने में अच्छा है या डांसिंग में अच्छा है, उसका स्किल सेट्स क्या है. आजकल तो एआई का बहुत जमाना है, रोबोटिक्स का जमाना है, ऑटोमेशन का जमाना है, सब कुछ होगा, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप का जमाना है. तो दैट असेसमेंट विल बी ऑन अ 360-degree panoramic view and with holistic progress card, tracking student progress for achieving learning objectives, learning outcomes especially. So a new comprehensive national curriculum framework for most important, ये बहुत important है, teachers, they need to be given effective training.
Now I want to interrupt on this point. Now हमारे वक्त ये कहा जाता था टीचर को सम्मान करो. Nowadays you have to literally put your children's head and let them to bow down to the teachers. Now the gap between the teachers and students are such a huge, because the first reason is that first the student, the fresh out pass out from the graduation or the post graduation, they first try to do it IAS, IPS, ICS, like that, then the government job, then this, and the last thing in their mind is a teacher. One brilliant scientist, Richard Feynman, who was the Nobel Prize winner and who was the man behind the present academic brilliance of USA, he used to say like that teachers are born, not made. Now we have to identify those people who are born teachers, because teachers are the main pillars of the society. One Chanakya can build an entire Bharat, then why not so many teachers are there, so many lecturers are there, they are PhD, they are MPhil, and blah blah blah, what not more. But when you sit in on their classes, you will find that what they are teaching, they are literally reading it out. They are
Correct.
not they are not teaching the pupils. They are not putting an effort on what the teaching is.
Correct.
So
I agree.
national education policy must address this issue also.
That is what I said. So this is a new comprehensive, national curriculum framework for teacher education, NCFTE. Okay, it's called as
Yeah.
National Curriculum Framework for Teacher Education 2021 will be formulated by National Council of Technical Education in consultation with NCRT. Okay, now I have said this. I myself as an academician for last 20 plus years, long back, I had gone to, I'm telling about 93, 94. In Chennai, I had gone to, teaching aids. If you have to get B.Ed or M.Ed, so
Yeah, yeah,
Bachelor
yeah,
of Education degree,
yeah,
you
yeah,
have to
yeah,
go to a particular school, explain with your aids. I made with all those aids with the help of my hand. और आजकल तो एक प्रिंट आउट निकल जाएगा 3D में सब कुछ निकल
बिल्कुल,
जाएगा
बिल्कुल,
ये तो
बिल्कुल,
मैंने
बिल्कुल।
खुद अपने हाथ से बनाया था so that
हम्म,
particular so what I for example I started my career as a third standard class teacher when I narrated the stories moral science classes तो बच्चे धूप होती है चेन्नई में 1 बजे के बाद खाना खाने के बाद बहुत सारे लोग सो जाते थे तो एट दैट टाइम मॉरल साइंस क्लासेस में अगर कुछ पंचतंत्रा का कहानी बताना चाहिए तो मैं इनैक्ट करके बताती थी गा के बताती थी हाउ हाउ ऐसे करके टाइगर जैसे एक्ट करके बताती थी बिल्ली जैसे करती थी या वानर के जैसे करती थी सो दैट वाज वी now you have everything just a click away so that
हम्म,
there's a lot of I keep telling that there's a paradigm shift yes this all will be addressed and that's what I say this this policy it envisages a broad based multidisciplinary holistic and undergraduate education with a lot of flexible curricula that is a lot of flexibility in curriculum everything will be changed and when changes we implement Niloy, there will be a lot of people will not accept change. We Indians we take some time to adjust, and we take some time to accept changes. So this has been a British imperialistic attitude. So this is an imperialistic education system. We are moving towards Atmanirbhar Bharat, our own package, our own education system, as you rightly called, our own holistic education system,
yeah,
where
yeah,
our own old my if you go to my Twitter ID, it is Gurukul Sukanya Iyer. So my
yeah.
way of Guru Shishya Parampara that is going to be highlighted, that is going to be visualized effectively, efficiently in NEP 2020. Rest assured, Niloy. So this when with a lot of integration of vocational education and multiple entry and exit points with appropriate certification. Undergraduate education can be of 3 or 4 years with multiple exit options and appropriate certification to boost their morale now and then within this period. So a lot of thought process and also academic bank of credits to be established to facilitate transfer of credits, multidisciplinary education and research universities. Most importantly, due importance are given to research. We do not have that much R&D colleges or R&D institutes. We need to give due impetus to we immediately look up to NASA. Why not we? हम हमारे में क्या कमी है वी हैव आवर ओन
बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल,
ISO we
बिल्कुल,
have
बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल।
we did
Yes,
co-vaccine
yes,
and
yes,
co-vaccine.
yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, we are
Yes,
proud.
yes, yes.
China gave us the problem. We gave the solution in the form of vaccine made in India, indigenously made vaccines, Covaxin and Covishield. We are so proud. We are so proud of Indian scientists. We are so proud of Indian doctors. We are so proud of Indian engineers. We are proud of every scientist, every mathematicians, every technocrats, everyone, irrespective, and also the teachers. So we bow down to every one of them in their own discipline, research universities at par with IITs, IIMs to be set up as models of best multidisciplinary education of global standards in the country. So everything has been thought. We will there will be a lot of people will be saying, "ठीक है ये देखा इन्होंने एकदम पीछे चले गए." We are not going anywhere. We are going to be the same. We are bringing back all the roots. We are connecting the present education system to our roots, which had scientific basis. Okay, the Gurukula system had scientific basis, and Sri Chakra. If you look into that, it has got a scientific base. Lot of meditation, lot of concentration is there in the Sri Chakra, that yantra. So everything is, our civilization has got scientific basis. There's nothing, which is otherwise. So let us move towards, when we shift from that imperialistic attitude, colonial British ka or hamare Indianized system, keeping on mind with what is happening on other parts of the world, and also incorporating the latest technology know-how. What else we want? It'll take some time, but it will be
Yeah.
implemented. India will be, once again, it will regain its throne, and Indians will have, there'll be no brain drain, no need. Everyone will come to India. Now, already
Yes,
been.
yes, yes. And one that we need to identify those people who are eager to contribute for our education system. I give you one example of Mr. Jonathan Crabtree, who's an Australian mathematician. He must be, viewing our discussions and must be listening to us. And he is going round the clock to the government officers and to tagging to education ministry that we need to revamp our mathematical teaching system, which our ancient used to teach the students in very simplistic way, whether it is a negative number, whether this is a positive number, which one is a complex number, in a very simple way, because all the mathematical evolution begins, no doubt about, in India, but we have lost it, and Europe has taken all the gem out of us, and we are following the European system blindly without understanding that our own system of teaching can modify our own education and can build up the Atmanirbhar Bharat, which is the present government is talking about. So
I agree.
I request you to please address those people who are really willingly working for the upgrading the education system.
That is addressed also, Niloy, in a way.
Yeah,
I'll tell you. Um, Before going to that point, I'll address one more point.
yeah,
NEP 2020 also emphasizes special gender inclusion fund, setting up of gender inclusion fund, special education zones for underprivileged and for also disadvantaged regions, remotest corner, disadvantaged regions and groups. Okay. New policy also promotes multilingualism in both schools, higher and the pre-primary, as well as in the schools and higher education. National Institute for Pali. Okay, I'm addressing your question. National Institute for Pali, Persian, and Prakrit. Indian Institute of Translation and Interpretation will be set up. Okay,
okay,
when these things
okay.
will be set up, all these institutes will be set up. That Mr. Jonathan's the key points will be taken into account. Everyone, a
That
lot
that
of,
will be that will be a
yeah.
great great
So
help to
that's
the
what
national.
I was waiting for that to be said. And when we say, National Institute has to be set up and all, so that is most important. That I have to. I kept on telling you that this is a holistic approach. It is a 360-degree approach for a balanced regional growth of each and every child in a holistic manner and pragmatic manner. So that is what we want. Now India have undergone a tremendous transition, both with a lot of positivity, positive sentiments, positive thought process, ideation process. The center and the state will definitely work together to arrive at a consensus to increase also the public investment in education sector, which to reach 6% of the GDP at the earliest. So this is what it is, and ensuring universal access at all levels of schooling, from pre-primary, as I said, education for all, pre-primary to pre-primary school to grade 12, and ensuring quality education to early childhood care and education for all between 3 to 6 years. So I have been telling all these things, where this points is just to assure that, as you addressed for Mr. Jonathan, that has been already taken into account. It's just a matter of time. All these issues after all these elections and all these before the monsoon session, this will be done. I'll be
Okay.
implemented in an effective
Okay.
way.
So nice to hear from you that you are addressing these issues already. Now, moving from one E to the next E, that is education to economics. That is the biggest, talkative point throughout India. And in present circumstances, I gone through the IMF website, and when they projected that India is the only country which is in 2021 has been projected as a double-digit growth. That is 11.5% of growth. Now, how they come to this conclusion is one point, but will it be a fruitful for India? Will it remain on paper, or will it really be a practical purpose for India? Because India is facing at this time is unemployment. Then there are a lot of labor migrations and all of the things that is happening post COVID-19. The things are, the economy is dwindling, and to put the economy back to the
Perspective.
late 90s and early, where the people are talking about
Back into track.
11.5. Let our audience and spectators let understand what do you mean by 11.5% growth.
See, leave alone the ratings, Niloy.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, our government of India has given a lot of packages. Atmanirbhar Bharat package, 1,50,000 crore for all the migrants, and later on for MSME sectors, which are the backbone, 50,000 crore package directly into their accounts, and also agriculture, which is the backbone of our economy. From 3.3%, it has increased to 4.3% during the pandemic. So what in India that we fail to address is, we know the demand side. There's a demand and supply. We are not
yeah.
concentrated much on the supply. The supply has to be looked into. Logistics, the supply chain has to be looked into. So that is the economics that are what, because I'm an economics person. So that supply has to be effectively taught, and many Moody's or Fitch ratings at raises India's bar FY 2022 GDP growth projection from 11 to 12.8% towards the upwards. It's called as upwards trajectory. So why it is done? It's a carryover effect. Okay, it's a on the there is it is because of looser fiscal stance, and also pandemic effect. Better on, also we had effectively managed the pandemic. Okay, we had given a lot of packages. The ratings, it anticipates the level of countries, GDP to remain well below its pre-pandemic trajectory, forecast trajectory, which also, which rating I'm talking about, the latest one, day before yesterday it has come. GDP growth to ease to 5.8% in FY23, a downward revision since December, which was a negative. So India's recovery from the depths of lockdown period, we say lockdown induced recession in 2020, has been swifter than what we expected, and GDP surpassed its pre-pandemic level in the fourth quarter of 2020, growing up to 4.4% in year-on-year after contracting to 7.3% in the previous quarter. So high frequency, what these are the indicators, they point to a strong start, um, which we started in 2021. The manufacturing PMI, okay, index, purchase manufacturing index, remained elevated. GST collections in the month of January went to 1 lakh crore, crossed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And elevated in February, while the pickup in mobility and a rise in the services, in the manufacturing, that PMI index point to the further gains in the services sector. Okay, that was a basic reason. I again repeat, the manufacturing PMI remained elevated in the month of February, while the pickup in the mobility and a rise in the services, that is the PMI, they point to further gains in the services sector. So also the report says, the recent flare-up in the new virus cases in some states have prompted to expect, milder growth. Also, it also contributes to milder growth in 2021. So it no longer expects that RBI to cut its policy rate or repo rates, owing to a brighter, short-term growth outlook, and also, to a limited decline in now the inflationary rates. The food inflation has, been balanced, and though it increased, limited decline in the inflation than it was forecast. The RBI will nonetheless keep its, the policy, loosened much over the forecast to shore up the recovery. And we had a very good budget. We had a very good budget allocation this time, a fantastic budget addressing to all sectors, allocation equally to, again, 360-degree allocation of funds to all sectors, leaving no stones, under the central bank also is likely to use forward, also to use forward guidance on policy rates, okay, the policy rates, and they can carry out open market operations to keep a lid, to carry out open market operations to keep a lid on, borrowing costs. So that is most important. And the Fitch also reports that the world GDP will also bounce back, it will have a growth of 6.1% in 2021, revised from 5.3% in December last year. So the expansion has been projected in the wake up of a stepped up fiscal support. That is most important. So the fiscal support, when you get economies adapting to social distancing, coronavirus, most important, vaccination rollout.
Yeah.
That is important.
Yes. Having said that, now
let me finish this. Why? Because coronavirus vaccination, it is gaining traction. We have also followed this vaccine Maitri, vaccine diplomacy to many countries.
Yes.
We're also getting foreign direct investment, and हमने open कर दिया insurance sector में up to 74% foreign direct investment. So this is an eye-catching, rate. They also said this is when it gains traction. This is an eye-catching rate of growth and the fastest annual pace since 1980. So this state is heavily flattered by the low base as it follows a post-war record decline of 3.4% last year, which swung the negative to positive. So along with better than expected outruns in the fourth quarter 2020, especially in Europe, the emerging markets like India, we now expect the GDP to be slightly higher. I will not be, give very, very glorious images or figures like 11 point or 12 point, but it'll rise. It will not go down hereafter. Economy is not going to go down. We have realized our strengths. We have rolled out vaccine. We have given vaccine to everyone. We have a lot of investments will happen. Also, privatization is on the account. Disinvestment is happening. So all the sick units are being addressed. Stressed debts are being addressed. So all those things, the pandemic is not over yet, but it is starting to look like, what we have entered the final phase of the economic crisis. The crisis is going to get over. The pandemic is not getting over. The final phase of economic crisis, it's definitely getting over. with a lot of positive sentiments. That is what many economists, including me, not a great economist, but with my limited knowledge, I will definitely vouch 100% say we are going to get over this economic crisis. The main driver, I will say, of our global forecast revision is much. We gave a fiscal stimulus package, right? India gave a fiscal stimulus package. Similarly, many countries, many nations have floated the stimulus package. Recently passed in US also, the 1.9 trillion dollar price tag, which represents more than 2.5% of global GDP, and fiscal support has a powerful cushioning impact in 2020. That's what is the basic essence. When you give fiscal stimulus package to a nation, it has a cushioning impact. So that will immediately from the negativity, and when the PMI increases, it will move to positive zone. So these ratings, all these, whether it is Moody's or the Fitch or the IMF, all these they say fiscal easing has also been announced in many other European nations, UK, India, Japan, Germany, Italy. Well, the EU's European Union's next generation, that EU fund, okay, that recovery fund should also provide a sizable boost to Eurozone growth in 2022. So China, according to the report, I'll say, according to this is which report, is the only major economy that it is starting to normalize macroeconomic policy settings, where the fiscal deficit is lacking. Okay, it's being scaled back. Okay, China, though it is
This is the
macroeconomic
scaling back. Yeah.
characters,
Yeah.
but fiscal का देख लीजिए आप, वो पीछे जा रहा है, and credit growth is slowing down, and that's the reason it is indulging in a lot of other activities with our enemy nation called Pakistan and other things. Okay, so though it is creating a lot of other issues because India is stable, debts
Yeah.
are not much in comparison to other world developed nations. So unemployment forecasts are revised down. So Fitch also says the report, the latest report I'm telling, it also says that unemployment forecasts for major economies have been cut, but job markets recoveries because of investment, because of India being the most sought after destination, and so that is the reason the recoveries are not now are on the high, deaths are on the low, active cases ज़्यादा है, but recoveries always on the positive, 95.6%. So that is I have to say this is a positive sign for India. So there are other labor intensive industries. पहले हम पहले क्या करते थे, सेंट्रल स्टैटिस्टिकल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन CSO में और अदर रिपोर्ट्स में अनऑर्गेनाइज सेक्टर को नहीं लेते थे. अभी क्या किया प्रधानमंत्री ने, प्रधानमंत्री स्वनिधि योजना कह के एक योजना बनाया जिसमें वेंडर्स, हॉकर्स, जो ठेले वाला, पानीपुरी वाला, जो भी है, उन लोगों को भी हम उन्होंने पैकेज दिया है. They can avail.
Does that package go to that level?
Yes. They can go and avail the loans, and they can without any collateral, without any rate of interest, they can avail the loans of nationalized banks. And though वो भी तो काम करने वाले हैं, वो नहीं काम कर रहे हैं. Don't they contribute to economy? You tell me.
Yes, they are contributing the economy, no doubt about that.
They're not contributing. So, पहले तो हम बोलते ही नहीं थे, उन लोगों के बारे में सोचते ही नहीं थे. वो भी तो हमारे इंटीग्रल पार्ट है. They're also, उनमें क्या कमी है, वो भी तो कमाते हैं, वो भी काम को करते हैं. खाली पानी पूरी देने का काम है क्या उनका? No, वो भी तो है. वो भी तो they're an integral part of economy. They're an integral part of a system, economic system. They're key contributors towards GDP. So they're unorganized sector.
No. Having you said that you are providing a certain kind of fund and loan to these people who are pani puri wala and all that those who are hawkers, kind of hawkers. They should be from government perspective. They should be directed. They should be educated. These are the funds which are available to you. You must avail them. so that they are not aware what the governments are doing
No,
for them.
yes, for
And
them,
that's why the communication gap is always there,
I agree, I
those who are
accept.
being ruled and ruled. Yeah.
I agree and I accept,
Yeah.
Niloy,
Mm.
because being a part of system, what we I keep telling the elected representatives, especially in your area, whether it is corporator or MLC or MLA, all of you, okay, fine. I'm talking to you all, so you all can make a note of it. PIB.com, okay.
PIB. Yeah.
PI pressinformationbureau.com.
Yeah.
All of you, I humbly request every one of you, please download Narendra Modi app, and also
Mhm.
make a note of other website called mygovernment.in. My
Yeah. Yeah.
my
My
gov.
government
Okay,
dot in.
all
Yeah.
of you can be in touch with our Prime Minister directly. He answers. Okay, I'm no one. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not, he has answered many of my tweets. He is a prime minister. He is a leader at the helm of affairs who will personally take your suggestions. Man ki baat. Because why
Yeah.
I'm asking, many of the issues in the jal, jal shakti, घर में जल पहुंचाना, घर से जल नल तक पहुंचना, एक एक घर में जल, बिकॉज दैट इज मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट, बिकॉज वी कीप वॉशिंग आवर हैंड्स, जल तो चाहिए ना. तो मेनी हाउस होल्ड्स, मेनी इन रूरल एरियाज टैप में नहीं आता है, कितने जन बेचारे जाते हैं. सो मेनी मोर देन आई एम जस्ट टेलिंग यू एन अप्रोक्सीमेशन, 36.4 crore in approximation. So that was the mission that PIB.com, mygovernment.in, Narendra Modi app, download कीजिए. You will be in touch with all the cabinet decisions, all the yojanas which are instituted and implemented for 132 crore Indians' welfare. Okay,
Okay.
piv.com जाइए, and please float it around in Niloy that every one of you can be in touch. I'm part of the system. Be in touch with me. I'm always 24/7 on the social media. My ID is in Twitter it is at the rate Sukanya Iyer 2. In
Yeah. Yeah.
Facebook it is Sukanya Iyer. My website is there. I have been highlighting all yojanas. Okay, there are now we are moving towards India is no more a job seeker. We are creators, we are entrepreneurs, so especially women. I'm doing a lot of webinar sessions on women entrepreneurship roles. So any cottage industries, any household, especially on the rural industries, there are many schemes. Kalyani scheme, Cent scheme, okay, Mudra Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. Go to any nationalized banks, State Bank of India, Punjab National Bank, Sindh Bank, every bank, Canara Bank, all these banks, please go and sit with the managers. They are very helpful, especially in this pandemic. You can ask them what are the things, what you want to start. Give them a detailed report that what you want. And people who are not educated, they can go directly. They are relationship managers who can help these people, and they can avail loans, and they will be monitored. They'll have to be given. Their loans will be monitored, recovered, and they have to show their performance. There'll be no collateral. There'll be no rate of interest charge. So from 50,000 to 5 lakh rupees, the loans are given, whatever they want to start, especially rural clusters, and the regional outcomes are very good. And this is how we are going to get empowered. Every individual, if we think like, why we have to work, why not we give employment? Here, a country with a younger generation of 60%, we are creating, we are creators. We are no more seekers. Why we should go and, when resources are there, what is Atmanirbhar Bharat? उसका मतलब क्या है? बोलते रहते हैं ना बहुत, we are to become
Mm.
आत्मचिंतन. अपने आप को सेल्फ इंट्रोस्पेक्ट करें. हमारे अंदर क्या क्या खूबियां वो भी तो बताएं. हम में क्या खराबी है, हम में क्या खामियां हैं. We must be having, we are talented, right? We need not be so geniuses. I'm not a genius, but at least I can do something with my limited resources available. Many of them have lost job. Many of them during the pandemic, my own friends, they started catering, they're all in good jobs. I stay in Hiranandani Pawai. They all started catering. What is घर में बनाते हैं, खुद बनाते हैं, बच्चे वगैरह सब ऑनलाइन क्लासेस में जब भी टाइम मिलता है सबको बना के दिया, डिब्बा दिया. What is wrong? We are not doing, चोरी नहीं कर रहे, झूठ नहीं बोल रहे, मेहनत कर रहे हैं, तो क्यों नहीं कर सकते? So that we have to realize our potential. We have to realize what resources we have to tap. हमारे आसपास में बहुत सारे resources हैं. Vocal for local. So
Yeah,
tap the
vocal for
resources.
local. Yeah.
Yes, that is
Then how many, sir, ma'am, how many industries are there going to be erected, let's say in 5 or 10 years? What is the data available to you?
See, this data is enormous. I can say data, this is going to be enormous. And most, now it was very less in the pre-pandemic. But
Yeah.
post-COVID, it has increased to 40-50%. And entrepreneurship rate has also, especially women entrepreneurs, have increased. They're key contributors for India's GDP, India's economy. So they have realized their potential. बहुत सारे लोगों ने पापड़ का लिया है और बुनने का काम किया है और गुड़िया बनाने का टॉय मेकिंग. You know, India में Kondapalli toys in Andhra. He can sell anywhere in India because everyone is hooked on online. Just put an ad, they can contact you, and they can you can sell them. You can charge the freight charges also. So बहुत सारे हमारे मध्य प्रदेश में टॉयज बहुत फेमस है. इकतपुरी का जो कपड़े है वो बहुत फेमस है. महाराष्ट्र में बहुत सारे toys, they're all quite well known. Many products are available in Maharashtra. Also, the local artisans. There are a lot of programs being organized online. Mahalakshmi Saras करके एक initiative है government का. So उसमें local artisans, local crafts, local tribal crafts, tribal so ट्राइबल्स के लिए बहुत सारे स्कीम्स लेके आए हैं एंड पैकेज भी दिया है उन लोगों के लिए बिकॉज दे आर द पीपल हु नो दे मेक लॉट ऑफ आर्टिस्टिक बीट्स जो मोती के जो मालाएं हैं जो हम माला पहनते हैं या कुछ जो हाथ का जो कारीगरी है वो बहुत करते हैं उनको अपलिफ्टमेंट से दीज आर ऑल अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड सेक्टर सो वो कैसे उनको अपलिफ्ट करे. So this is the way we have to think, we cannot go back to Stone Age. We have to move ahead.
Yeah.
We have to move forward. The way forward is to think forward. And to think is introspecting. Atma Chintan. वो ही है आत्मनिर्भर भारत. So coming back again, one line I'll add. India's growth performance in 2020, which fell below our expectations. But the fiscal stimulus fell short of initial announcements. Then the UN, there's a UN report also, added that relief measures which were adopted by India, but not only much smaller, but they also centered on easing supply side. I kept telling you, we never pondered on supply side. They also centered on easing supply side constraints, providing liquidity support rather than aggregate demand support. So the liquidity support ho jata hai, to moreover all these restriction to people's movements not only severely affected incomes and consumption, they also proved largely unsuccessful in containing the spread of the virus. So that is how, as a result, the fall in economic activity proved to be larger than what we envisaged in mid 2020. That was the reason. So the budget for the fiscal year from April 2021 to March 2022 points to a shift towards demand-side stimulus with an uptick in public investment, particularly in transport infrastructure. Infrastructure building is key. उसमें तो employment generation होता है, bridge बनाने के लोग की जरूरत होती है.
Yes. Infrastructure can
two line, four-way. और नागपुर हो, नासिक हो, कनेक्टिविटी, रोड, सी, वाटरवेज, एयरवेज, सारा कनेक्टिविटी चाहिए. तो सबके लिए लोग चाहिए ना, ऐसे हवा में तो नहीं आएंगे. एम्प्लॉयमेंट इज सो public investment, particularly in transport infrastructure for the coming fiscal year. An anticipated, that is the reason, an anticipated recovery in global demand also helped buoy what? The export sector through 2021. So the accumulated real income loss, which relatively to pre-COVID trend to 2021 percentage of GDP for India was 27.7%. So US contracted by 3.5% in 2020. Now the forecast is to grow 4.5% this year. China is projected to record 8.1%. I don't know how. Okay, उनका कुछ होगा अलग तरीका in 2021. So your report said the 4.7% growth projected for the world will still leave the global economy over 10 trillion short of where it could have been by the end of 2021. So these are all the pre-pandemic का जो trend था, that is still there. There's a worry, but about the reality. So we have to also see that there were a lot of misconceptions, misguided. So we have to face the brunt of the global economy and being felt in our countries, in developing countries with limited fiscal space, lightening balance of payment constraints, inadequate international support, with all these things. So economic growth, it notes that global recovery in the third quarter of 2020 is expected to continue in 2021 also. It will continue. So all these COVID-19 will likely to have lasting economic as well as health consequences, which will require continuous government support. Our government is doing it. We have rolled out the vaccine effectively. Vaccination is phase-wise we are doing. Frontline workers को दिया, health workers को दिया, है ना? सब फिर अभी 45+ comorbidities को 60 years को दिया. अभी एक stage में monitor करके. So it is not going to be, and 71 nations we have supplied
Yes. 73 to be exact. Yes, 73. So, ma'am, this E2E means education to economics discussion can go on and on and on and on, and you have never-ending, conclusion point where we can say that yes. But hopefully, the present government can, put proper economic frame structure so that the unemployed youth can be addressed and put to the mainstream, so that they can contribute to the nation's building, and they should not be in the destruction or other kind of business which is right now activating in India. So, ma'am, it was a great pleasure to talking to you, and hopefully we will invite you again, say coming 2 and 3 months when the situations are going definitely going to improve. Then we will discuss what is the other part of the economy and all that. Thank you for giving such a precious times to us, and hopefully we will meet it again.
You all gained some inputs. Hopefully I was able to throw some light.
We have gained some inputs, definitely.
Yeah, and मैं हमेशा यही बोलती हूँ, हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होकर रहेंगे कामयाब. Always, keep your head held high. Don't get dejected. Don't get depressed. Don't get deceived. Don't get betrayed. नया भारत, नई उम्मीद, नया दिन, नई उम्मीद. There's always a ray of hope. There's always, faith. Have faith in yourself. Have faith in Almighty. Have faith. That's most important. होगा, सबके दिन आएंगे. सबका अच्छा दिन आ गया है. आएंगे. जो गया, गुजर गया, वो गया. उसको याद रखो, पर उसके ऊपर ये मत करो कि ये क्यों हुआ, हो गया. पर जो आने वाला जो कल है, वो सुनहरा है, बहुत अच्छा है. एंड वो जो सुनहरा जो वक्त है, वो आपका वक्त है और आपके हाथ में है, और आपका भविष्य आपके हाथ में है. सो दिस इज, एंड आपका जब एक भारतीय, एक हिंदुस्तानी अपने आप को सक्षम समझता है, तो मैं तो हिंदुस्तानी एक नारी हूँ, मैं सक्षम समझती हूँ. वैसे ही आप लोग सब लोग सक्षम हो, एक स्किल सेट से लेके अपने आप को पहचानिए, अपने हुनर को पहचानिए और अपने हुनर को एक पहचान दीजिए. और जब वो अपने आप को एक पहचान देंगे, आपका भविष्य सुनहरा भी होगा और भारत का भविष्य भी सुनहरा होगा। कहीं जाने की जरूरत नहीं है, कोई चिंता करने का विषय नहीं है, आपके पास ही है, आपके दोनों हाथों में औजार है। आपके दिल में होना चाहिए एक हुनर और एक हौसला होना चाहिए। हौसला को बरकरार रखिए। सो ये मेरा आप लोगों से एक निवेदन होगा, यंग जनरेशन से, कि आप लोग बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हो, बहुत अच्छा ही एक आप लोगों के पास स्किल सेट्स हैं, एक बहुत अच्छा मौका है आप लोगों के पास। आप लोग अपने आप को पहचानिए। देयर इज नो नीड टू से आई डिडंट गेट अ जॉब। गिव अ जॉब, create a job. So you are all creators. There are all no more seekers. Create and create your own destiny. Script your own destiny. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Jai Hind.
जय हिंद, जय भारत.